Good evening to all the participants. On behalf of Laghu Udyog Bharati, a very warm welcome to all of you. Let me briefly introduce Laghu Udyog Bharati Karnataka for the new members and the speakers. Laghu Udyog Bharati Karnataka, LUBK as it is called, is a state chapter of LUB National, catering to 24 districts of Karnataka and works towards the empowerment of entrepreneurs in micro and small sector. It plays a very, very important role in promoting trade and investments in the state. Being the apex organization in Karnataka for MSMEs, it regularly interacts with senior government officials both from central and state governments on critical issues concerning MSME sector. LUBK is involved in activities including capacity building programs for entrepreneurs, industrial visits to showcase best practices and encourage MSMEs to adopt and replicate the same, interactive meetings with government departments to solve specific bottlenecks and grievances raised by the members, hosting knowledge capsules on a regular basis as a member connect initiative, participating in national and international exhibitions and trade fairs, hosting of national and international exhibition, and organizing international business delegations for technology transfers, B2B and joint ventures and collaboration. And of course, we promote leadership among women entrepreneurships. Coming back to today's webinar, several members wanted this particular section on food sector. So today we have with us Mr. Sriranga Haridasa and Ms. Deepa Chavan, who are food and retail specialists, strategists. They'll be speaking to us on the topic food sector challenges and opportunities. They will be touching on issues related to new food segments like modified and fortified foods, proprietary foods, multigrain and organic foods, traditional foods, how to increase the shelf life, and of course, a bit of packaging, labeling, and pricing aspects. Apart from the two speakers, we have a panel of speakers who will be addressing on your queries on any micro and specific topics you may want to raise with them. I earnestly request all the participants to kindly ask as many questions as possible since we have a highly experienced panel of speakers with us today. I now hand over the session to Mr. Suresh Iyer to briefly introduce and moderate the session. Mr. Suresh Iyer.
Yeah, you can hear me, Shekhar? Shekhar, can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay, very good evening to all of you. Those who are new to this series of webinars, I welcome you all from my panel. And to those who have been present earlier, thank you very much for continuing to support our panel for giving you inputs which may help you during the COVID and post-COVID. Especially women entrepreneurs, which has been we have been the focus for this week from Monday. We had a very good response. And I thank the Laghu Udyog management team to give 4 topics which are very current and related to their problem-solving natures in the entrepreneurship among women. So the first day we had a good session, second day we had a good session, yesterday we had a very good session. And the challenge was, me and my team are like students in an exam, and Shekhar being like the examiner, and the board of studies being the LUB team, who is to give us a topic only 24 hours before. And then like students, we scramble for very good speakers, excellent speakers. So I had always have an excellent panel of speakers with me. So yesterday, the person who was supposed to deliver today could not come. So let us start looking at what it is, and then I'll hand over the stage to both Ranga as well as Deepa. They're all my colleagues, so please bear with me. I'll run through some of the issues which you are facing, very current, and let us move on.
Sir, before you start, there is a request from some of the women entrepreneurs to briefly sum up yesterday's session, sir, on the insurance. Just very briefly, 2-3 minutes, sir.
Yeah.
Some of them missed it yesterday, so most of them have joined today. So request you to just very, very briefly touch upon the subject, sir.
Is Dr. Purvi there? Just in case for the question answer later. All right. See, entrepreneurs usually start a business with a risk. The entrepreneurship word itself is to take risk. So when you're starting an enterprise, you are risking something, maybe your image, maybe your money, maybe your status, whatever. But once you start your business, you no longer worry about the business or any other thing if you are profiting and making huge money. But if you don't make money, you have a lot of problems. You then ask how to make the business grow, how to survive the business. But if you don't address the risk part before starting the business, that risk part continues once you start the business. So if you have a risk before you start the business, you know what types of risks they are. And if you know who can take care of the risks, then you are safe in business. Because there are two types of risks. One risk where the insurance business will not cover. And the other is where the insurance business will cover. Now, please note this underlining points. The business risks, again, are two types. One, which the insurance does not cover. Second, which the insurance covers. Now, those which the insurance does not cover, you need to be very careful in terms of maybe the maintenance, the security, and various things. That's why today you put a closed circuit camera to see that there are no theft take place. You put a huge Chubb lock because the insurance agencies want to use only a standard lock to be put in the factory. So on and so forth. But the insurance industry works differently. So when you say that my risk is going to be transferred to the insurance industry and they will take care of my risk, if you have not insured, how are they going to pay you? Second, you have insured your goods, and if something goes wrong and you don't give proper documentation or as per their formats they want, or in the time they want, or in the value and assessment that is normally the case, you will not get your insurance claim processed. You can't claim 1,000 rupee damage and say 1 crore is lost. So these things are the key aspects for insurance. Now, insurance in India is governed by IRDAI. That website, if you all go through, every aspect or every answer or every query is there for you. Every query is answered. You don't have to worry. Second, you all should know one thing about insurance business. This is the only business where the salesman, so-called insurance agent, we will do anything for you to get the information across to you because he wants your business. Why? Because this is the only business when you tie up with him, his lifelong earning starts with you. Sorry, I'm saying it bluntly. So insurance agents are nothing to be afraid of. You don't have to worry that you don't get information. I don't have information. I don't know what to do. Don't worry. Just call 1, 2, 3 across the industry. There are so many insurance agents. Call all of them. Take your time if you have time, and if you are not at risk, study all the insurance policies. Find out which has got low premium, maximum benefit. Go along with them. So yesterday, the person who spoke is a close friend of mine in our panel also. So you can contact him through Shekhar. If you have a problem on the insurance business or anything connected or related, please connect with Shekhar. Me and my panel members will help you. All right. Shekhar, if that's okay, then I'll continue.
That's okay, sir. Just 1 minute, sir. I request all the participants, except for my speakers, to keep your camera and mic off, please. Raghavendra, DR, Mr. Sri Shiva, please keep your cameras off. It will disturb the speaker.
I think, Shekhar, most of them have problem with the icon, the red icon. They switch between the mic and the video and the off. So when they press the center, they exit. So I think we can excuse some of those less techie people to manage themselves.
Carry on with your presentation, sir.
So what is food business all about? Everybody wants food, but who promises safe food? Who gives you that condition of food that makes you healthier and live longer? What is called the less costly healthcare? I can't understand what is less costly healthcare. You may go into a less costly healthcare and go into the hospital. What will happen? With more resilient food industries, there's so many industries which are very resilient, very strong, very quality conscious, all that. But still, we have the street side food vendors who doesn't pass through FDI, FSSAI regulations, but their food quality is much better than the hotel at times. Because there was a survey some time back where they said the outside food has got less microbes than the hotel, which is where you sit and eat. Let's not worrying about that because there's more of regulatory aspects. We are looking at what topics to discuss. And I believe many of the entrepreneurs are from this category of business, preservative foods, and I've listed down, I'm not reading it. We have topics to discuss this also. So let's go one by one. Food safety is the most important thing, and FSSAI has a 228 slide presentation only on bakery products. So if you want to start a bakery product business, I must show you all the 228 slides, and this will be common for all category of products, because food, whether it's infants, young children, adults, pregnant women, people with illness, all need food, and the bacteria is the same that affects all, but in different intensity of causing danger or harm. Basically food, what we all see in the world, we are 1 billion people or more than that. We need food daily, even at the cost of 10 rupees per head per day. We are talking of 10 billion rupees squandered or spent on food daily. Huge, huge business. Huge. I'm just giving a minimum figure, 10 rupees based on Amma canteen and whatever canteen is running in Karnataka. Free food, almost. So if you see the farm to table or factory to table, the processes are huge, huge acreage of land, which is growing rice, wheat, sugar, jawar, bajra, all of them. They have to be put in some granaries, put in some warehouses, transported in trucks, brought to some place, processed, then put in packs, brought in retail, and then sold to you in retail. I'm not reading through this. If you can see this slide in FSSAI, they will tell you what are the hazards of all this bacteria, virus, and all this, how the food is processed, where it is processed, and all the food processing machines, the factories, all have chemicals. They throw out effluents, which are very bad for the environment. Location surrounding of where you make the food, whether it's at home, whether in the hotel, whether in the street, whether in big five-star hotels. You need to know how food is produced. You cannot have a food near a factory which has got a sewage. So a lot of conditions are there which FSSAI looks at. I'm not going through all this because we are looking at preservative-free products. What are the opportunities here? The preservative-free products requires high packaging, less shelf life, high nutrition, higher cost, less processing, niche marketing, because these products are very niche. Very few people will buy. I mean, many people will buy because it's less costly. And there are too many players in this. And there's too many players have to be regulated by FSSAI. And because of somewhere slips, you will find products which are cheap and damaging to the natural foods. Immense potential. Nature gives, you sell. Make money, make profits, enjoy life. Anything you see around from nature, animals, birds, you see animals give, cows give milk. There are a lot of people in the country who sell milk at 100 liters, 200 liters per day and make money. At the same time, you have a cooperative like Amul, where the same farmer or the same person has entangled with him with another 1 lakh people, and that's a huge, huge brand. Similarly with birds, when you say birds, I mean eggs. You see eggs which are sold in poultry. You have many, many houses buying eggs from small people who sell daily house to house. At the same time, you have those which are packed in 20 in a crate, and the whole crate is bought over a weekend in the supermarket. Now in natural food, we have the high marketing versus low marketing style. What is high marketing? The minute you start packing this natural foods, you have got high marketing. The minute you sell it open and mass, it's low marketing style. So you sell loose, you mass market, sold and packed, branded is easy. So price changes according to openness to branded and the grades of the product and sorting. So you have mangoes, Alfonso mangoes coming to you in your house. It is sorted out by size, weight, and pulp matter, and accordingly the price goes up. And the higher the quality, less of organic or what you call pesticides, that mango is more sought after, and they are exported to. Traditional foods, modified foods, even naturally modified. If you keep the banana in the tree itself, it goes from raw banana to plantain. If you keep chili, green chili, it dries off to become red chili. So you don't have to do anything. Modified foods naturally are also easy to manage. Are you into that business? Huge business. So much to explore. In the question answer, we'll take some more interesting aspects. Traditional foods, if you look at the culture, region or the health or medicine, this aspect, I won't give you too many examples. One word and you'll know the entire spectrum. Baba Ramdev exploited this very well. He has got huge hectareage, H-E-C-T-A-R-E, hectareage of land where he is producing herbs, medicines, farming all the plants that is required to make food as well as medicines. MDH, if you know, he's the one who's passed off recently, the elderly gentleman. He has this MDH MDH masalas, which sold huge quantities of spices, just bringing from the traditional foods recipe. He's not even gone into the finished products. He's just value adding. He's what he calls taste enhancer. Restaurants, Udupi, Kama, all these food chains are so big that you know what they are doing. Only idli sambar. In Chennai, that's a brand called Sharavana Bhavan. Sharavana Bhavan has a very nice concept of their hotel. What they do is they market their products in such a way, they say, we use oil only once. After the oil, what happens to that oil? They throw it? No, they sell it to the other customers, other hotels where they buy it cheap and they start selling again the idli dosa, which is cheaper price. This is a value chain that comes out. Organic food. This organic food, anybody wants to enter in this business or in this business, please be thankful and lucky. It's a separate ecosystem. There are specialized buyers, separate or banded supply chain. There's separate label and identity. That's a huge acceptance, either in the brand market or the mass market. There's a high price because the word organic is there. There's less entry barrier because many people. At the moment, there are few players, and it's an anytime entry and a business potential. So if you have access to organic food, start selling. Vitamin supplements. I was in a brand selling this probiotics and this whey protein stuff for Tablets India for 3 years, exporting that stuff also. And earlier, I've been doing a lot of exports of biscuits into Nigeria, managing many other food items. So I know how this business works in the export market. So vitamin supplements has come up for rage past 20 years gradually, but of past 10 years, huge. So the vitamin supplements are in the powder form, packed in a plastic, wrapper, in a plastic box or in a cardboard box, or it's in a bottle. There are capsules and tablets, both which is in a blister or a bottle. You have syrups which are in a bottle. You have shakes and juices of vitamin supplements with again Tetra Pak or bottle. Now even water is coming with added vitamins. Can you believe water? I believe in Bangalore there are a lot of places where you get the whole can of 20 liter or 15 liter filled up for 5 rupees. Now if you just add some vitamins to it, can you take it? No, because the vitamins will get spoiled if you don't put it with other preservative. So don't make a mistake of just mimicking a branded water bottle which has got vitamin supplements at your house. Best to take a separate tablet and the RO water or whatever bottle, water you have to make your life easy. And this vitamin supplement is a regulated business. FSSAI has a huge control on it. Over time has lots of opportunity for small companies to see helping big pharma and food companies. All those who are small companies, please go and talk to pharma and big food companies. You may have opportunities there. I'll tell you why it is in the question answer session. Multi-grain products, already a hugely accepted category because of various reasons. Lot of health promoters, the dietitians, all have started looking at the advantage of multigrain, and they are promoting it widely. Now you see bread, the multigrain bread is sitting alongside the maida bread and the wheat bread everywhere. Health benefits, it helps the diabetes people, it helps to slim, it has beneficiary for the obese people who cannot slim, but they want to have better digestive facilities. Organic food customers too have a very easy acceptance because the sales avenues are also very easy. Local to state to national scope is very, very high. Preservatives, food products, this is what we have, natural food. All are now in all channels of distribution. Ranga will speak more on vegan too. Deepa will also speak on ingredients. So if you succeed in a few shops and stores and scale up retail stores, sales will be interesting. If you succeed to sell in a few shops, maybe 20, 30, and you slowly apply to the nearest retail shop, big shop, chain shop, they will say, okay, your brand we will take. At least they will sell in Karnataka region. If you can deliver quality potential products, then for exports, the scope is very high. From our group and our panel, we can help you to reach UAE markets because it's a very systematic market. You can get a buyer there. There's a very systematic processes of buying there. So if you get on to somebody who's ready to import, I can help you with the processes so that we can see you exporting to UAE also, provided you are under some quality standards. Again, I will take this on the question and answer. So increasing shelf life, a little more for packing and extend shelf life by years. Don't make the mistake of sacrificing a little paisa or a rupee for packing. Packing types and materials is very important. Storage methods are important. Locations, whether heat or cold, some products require refrigeration. Amazon or Reliance or all those people who entered the big retail chains, they invested hugely on the cold storage and also in the warm storage because certain products require certain heat. Otherwise, they gather fungus because of moisture. So you have such sort of storage methods, which is very important. Large people have taken advantage of. Smaller players must make use of their intelligence and the available resources nearby. Transport process today has gone hugely mechanized, technologically oriented, tracking ability. So shelf life is very, very easy to increase. Preservatives, as I told you, very important. People today are very smart, know how to preserve products. External protection from water, very important. You may keep everything under very nice storage, very nice warehouse. Sunlight is there, everything is there. A small crack in the roof and the water starts spilling, you're out. Use quality controls and products all through. So basically inside all this packing, your products, if they are very, very good, automatically shelf life will be high. Be guarded, be guided by FSSAI. Labeling. Labeling is creatively done with colors, design, type of label on whether it's on the product or printed. Essential information must be there. Mandatory information must be there. Whether it's a print or sticker, it must last long. Then you should have to consider the local, national, global aspects. Don't make a mistake of ignoring any of these. There should be symbols, there should be languages, there should be terms where the prices have to be put, how the prices have to be put, where it has to be put, and the expiry date also. See the difference between a mass and a brand. For your category of product, go and seek a mass brand, go and seek a branded product. See what's the difference. Pricing. To enter market easily, and when? Why you do pricing? To enter market easily. Then you have to retain customer. You have to make profit. You have to inhibit competitors. You must have scope for high sales. Easy for sales team to sell. Easy for buyers to decide. Be realistic and not be in a fancy. You can't sell a 100 rupee product and say mine is very good quality. Another guy with same features, same product will come at rupees 60. He finishes off your business because he knows that you're making 80 rupees. You're giving him an entry. Market is down. Demand is has potential. Market is down during these days. But it is waiting to grow because many of the products that you can make, modify or create can establish long shelf life. And the products in focus, if you are focused in a product, you'll have a long way to go. You should also be ready to break away from that business, exit that business, or put a stop to that business for some time, or seek new opportunities if you have the methods, if you have the people, machines and things, which I've been telling in the past as well. And all the time, from now on, if you have missed the boat of not hearing us earlier, please keep in touch with various people that you can. Now, lots of ideas can come from vendors, banks, your MSME members, your members, or in the group here. You put your idea in the chat and you see how many people help you. FSSAI, all the regulatory authorities, competitors, online info, so much. You can also connect with IFBT. This is the Indian Institute of Food and Processing Technology Industries. That person has given me permission that you can contact him. Lots of product opportunities are available. How jackfruit can be used, how watermelon can be used, how mango can be used, what is the tomato puri. Mango is ripe. After once it becomes ripe, you can make the pulp, the puri and the juice and whatnot. So retail business and more. Now I allow the stage to be taken by Ranga and later by Deepa. Thank you.
So you can close your presentation.
Yeah, Ranga, please.
Yeah. I was just a minute. Hi all, are you able to see the slides?
Yes.
Hello? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. It is available. Visible.
Okay. Okay. So I would like to begin, the discussion with, saying that, whether it's COVID or not COVID, the food industry has been growing and it continues to grow because people are consuming, they can't starve. Okay. Let's quickly understand, how the food industry has evolved and what are the revolutions which has helped the food industry reach this stage. So it's green revolution and white revolution. So what happened with these two? So it's basically the production increased. Farmers and horticulture, everyone were encouraged to increase the production. And then came the industrial revolution. Industrial revolution with the machineries, the processing industries got set up, and also farms got benefited with the fertilizers and stuff, okay, which further increased the production. And that is how the food processing industry came into being. Now, let's move to the next one, which is the IT revolution. It's the most important one because it has completely revolutionized all the above three industries, because it helped the industries with perfection. It helped retailers manage their inventories, and it helped farmers connect better to the system and the management here, right? And modern trade also helped the revolution of food processing. Modern trade gave them the opportunity to gave the visibility to each food processing industries, all each of those brands. And then came the wellness revolution, right? So if I just have to summarize all these revolutions, each of them has helped food industry grow to an extent where it is today, and each revolution gave a benefit to the society, okay. And I just remember one of the incidents here. So FabMall, when they started, it actually started as an online portal, but unfortunately, because of though the .com was there, unfortunately what happened was people were not ready to use their credit cards and debit cards. It wasn't that easy. People were scary to use then. It was in 1999. But later FabMall started all their FabMall stores, which is how the modern trade came into being. And that was the start of that is how the IT and modern trade together revolutionized this industry overall. So with all these revolutions, what happened? There were plethora of categories which came into existence as listed here. Okay, so I very much remember 20-25 years back, I used to go out for a rice mill or a wheat mill to get it milled, but today that's not even required. Everything is available to us in the form of a packaged form of products, right from ready to eat, whole wheat, breakfast cereals. These are the categories which emerged out of all those revolutions which happened to the industries. And it's most important to it's important to understand that the points which I have highlighted are the categories which have been continuously growing in the modern trade and e-commerce platforms. And if you are looking for entering any business, you should be looking at these categories to enter, which are highlighted, which are bold. Okay, here's the industry overview. FMCG is the fourth largest sector in the Indian economy, and retail market is today at $1.1 trillion US. Packaged food market is expected to double to US $70 billion by 2020. And urban segment accounts for a share of 55%. Rural and semi-urban segments are growing at a rapid pace. So what are the industry drivers? It's the growing awareness among people, growing awareness among customers. Customers are getting very health conscious, easier access, with the IT industry revolutionizing the us all. The digital platforms came into being, which is providing all of us an easier access and changing lifestyles. With awareness comes your lifestyle too. So it's drastically going to change, and all these 3 points are utilized by the FMCG industries to make innovative products. Now, if you have a product, where all do you market it? Okay, the following are the channels that you market. Okay, so supermarkets or the standalone supermarkets, as the way it is called. So what you do here is very simple. You get in touch with a distributor, who knows, a local distributor would know a lot of, connects. He'll be able to connect you with, the general trade and the supermarkets, network, because, he goes there for a weekly supply. Hello, am I audible? Sorry.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. And the modern trades. So modern trades, when I say it's the fab malls and it's the more stores or Reliance supermarkets and stuff like that. Here, what happens is when you enter there, it comes with a cost. There is commercial specifically with which the modern trade works. Okay. So with which you have to be first owing to you should be able to absorb those costs. If not, modern trade becomes a little difficult, because every brand there is fighting for a share of shelf within each category. Okay, and then e-commerce platforms. I will discuss on the e-commerce platform in the next slide. And I believe among all the options that I have listed, on the channels, it is the D2C and the influencer marketing and the social media which is actually helping most of the brands today. And they are also cost effective. So we will discuss more about that. Now.
Sir, excuse me. Sir, yeah. Sir, just once again. Sir, could you please press F5 for full screen of presentation?
Is it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Is it fine?
Yeah, it's fine, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sure. So listing on e-commerce portals. So how does it happen? So now there are two major portals which we all look forward to get listed. One is BigBasket and one is Amazon. So how do you get listed? Today what has happened is there are entry barriers. I will not tell you that it will be a piece of cake and it will be easy to enter them. However, BigBasket has formed a specific team which will look after brands who are emerging brands. Typically, you might be, you would have started the business probably 5 years back, 10 years back. They have a different strategy for them, because it doesn't sync with all the existing brands, because they are all large companies. Hence, this needs a specific focus. So what happens in that stage? There are some commercials which you have to close with the team, but however, they're going to help you with a lot of visibilities. Boosting opportunities in the respective categories that they belong to. So all those things are listed on the slide, which is the visibility, the personalized banners, product boosting, promotion effectiveness, the emailers and push notifications. They also give you a lot of monthly reports, which will help you understand where you are, the stock reports, and how has been the fill rate report. So when I say fill rate, it's as simple as how much you have supplied against each purchase order, and the category reports and the insights. So these are the value added services which is available with BB Accelerate as a team with BigBasket. Second, Amazon Launchpad. This is something which is very similar to what BigBasket is doing. The same is being done by this Launchpad team for Amazon. Okay. When I say Launchpad, they are a team within Amazon itself. Okay. So they help us with, the multiple images, videos. They help us with the bullet points. They help us with, SEO keywords, because it's on digital platforms. It's basically you search for a particular keyword, you search for a category or a brand, and then the results pop up, and which makes the customer decide whether he wants to buy the product or not. So SEO and A+ content plays a very, very important role there. And they also help us with the reviews, ratings, explore FBA. If you are there on Amazon, as per data analytics, it says that FBA, which is fulfilled by Amazon. If you register today, it will be fulfilled by merchant, but when you convert it to a fulfilled by Amazon as a as an option, then your sales will actually increase by about 30-35%. This is as per the data. And they help us with the Amazon marketing services. You just have to tell them that you're ready to do those activities with them, and all these are subject to the discussion with the respective team and the TOT that you're going to sign. Moving on, so now how do you approach these teams? So you have a product, you will have some benefits, some USP to talk about, and how do you approach? So let's probably understand a little bit of the consumer types, consumer demographics which is available with e-commerce. So today, based on the gender, people who shop either on BigBasket or is it Amazon, it's equally shared. 50% male and 50% female both shop on the platforms. And if you see the age, you can see that the core TG of grocery purchase online consists of young and mid-aged shoppers in a nuclear families, and needless to say, they're all educated and stuff like that, and they belong to a higher class, SEC A+ categories. However, these days, most of the middle class customers have also started, relying on BigBasket because of COVID. Let me tell you, there was a statistic in ET. BigBasket could deliver close to about 1 crore orders or 10 lakh orders in a day. Now, when you have these purchases, how are the purchase behavior done? I mean, what is the purchase behavior, online grocery purchase behavior? So there's a study which is done, where 87% responded that they have at least shopped once on Amazon or BigBasket. And what are the categories that they purchase? The numbers which are mentioned on each diagram, each slide is the percentage, each bar. So I can say that branded food products, the processed foods, has a penetration of 70%. So anybody who's shopping there, 70% of customers do buy branded food products. So let's quickly understand what has been the successful innovations in FMCG. And the reason why they have been able to innovate is also because of these demographics. I can say that most of these products that you see on this particular slide were not existent probably about 6-7 years back, except for ID Batter. Okay. So what did these brands do? Okay, there was a category existing. They came out with an innovative product, with a USP. So for example, Yoga Bar. So they came up with the nutritional benefits, which is why they are successful. And touchwood, they do close to about 70 lakhs of business in a month on Amazon. That's the data. And Raw Pressery, now in the midst of Tropicana, Real, and some of the sweetened juices category, Raw Pressery provided, provided to its customers the no added colors and no added sugar as a category. And these are all natural products. I can say that they use natural ingredients, and which is why these categories have been successful, which is Raw Pressery and even almond milk. Okay, so almond milk is one of the vegan products too. Okay, and yeah. And talking about ID Batter, this is one other case study which we should consider. Dosa idli is something which is readily consumed in any Indian household. Okay, and usually these were made at homes, and ID came up with this idea. With that innovation itself, they have been able to penetrate to the markets, and they have actually done a deal with BigBasket, wherein they'll be reaching 1 million households by 2022. That's the plan between ID and BigBasket. Okay, so with those insights, also the categories of organic also as a category has been highly accepted because of its benefits. In simple words, what is organic? what our grandparents used to do. The grandparents, whatever farming practices they followed is organic. Okay, so there are different ways of certifications. You can certify your land, you certify your farm, or you can certify your product, or it could be the certification of your ingredients. And there are close to about 15 plus companies today who are doing extremely well. Each of them come up with the different categories which is mentioned on the right side, which is beverages, the cereals, meat, poultry, dairy, processed foods, and there are so many coming up. I saw a product which is Plum Organics. They have kids food, which is a healthy snacking food also. So there is plethora of opportunities in terms of this particular category, organic. Okay. Now, this was one of the studies done in the for the vegan category. Okay, and on the left side you can see the reasons for choosing the plant-based food products in India. Okay, so they said most of them replied, more than 50% they have replied that they follow a vegetarian or a vegan diet, which is why Indian market sees a huge potential in this. And what has consequently happened is, the study was also done with, willingness to pay. Now, fresh food as a category was accepted irrespective of whether the brand was well known or not. Okay. So these are some of the innovations in the vegan products. Okay, you can see, jackfruit meat, and these are categories which are complementing the meats. Somebody who wants to move out of meats but has a feel of meats. Okay, but he doesn't want to eat non-veg as a category. Somebody who wants to exit non-veg, this is an ideal option for them. And these are some of the latest innovations and products which has come out in the market, and you can see more of these products on a platform like Urban Platter. Now, some of the facts, okay, which I want to present, which are given by the World Health Organization. About 60% of the world's health patients will be Indians by 2010, and by 2030, 6 crore people will be diabetic, 7.5 crore will be pre-diabetic. And obesity is going to increase from about 9% to about 24%, by about 2025. So these are facts that we should bear in mind, what we are, giving back to the customers. Okay, so most of the products today, why customers have become more health conscious is, because of the increase in awareness. And I would like to share some of the market trends too. Okay. So one is the health consciousness, increase in demand for the homemade hygienic foods has begun. Lifestyle products, they continue to, premium products and lifestyle products, continue to have a demand in market. There is huge preference for organic, vegan, multigrain and preservative free in the market today. Now, based on, I believe that, these are few products which have come out in the market in 2021, which are a result of, the above statistics too. Okay. So you can see that, there is a second product called Future Life. Okay. So this product was actually, it has been introduced by Haldiram's. They partnered with a South African company to get this product in India. Okay, so it was difficult for me to also understand because Haldiram's is known for snacks and namkeens, but they have entered a category which is into breakfast cereals, which simply tells us that the increase in awareness among customers of health consciousness is what is making them to come up with such products today, right? So there are brands and companies who are venturing into new products. You wouldn't be surprised with the Sunfeast Wonders milk because the category was already existent. But Haldiram's, somebody who belonged to indulgence category is now entering, a breakfast cereal category. That was surprising. Tata Tea, they reformed their product of Tetley and added vitamin C, and the result of that was Tulsi green tea and Gold Care. And Dabur, they wanted to compete against the ghee market. They brought in the 100% cow ghee. So this continues to grow. So there are products which is getting introduced in market, which are both in indulgence category and the categories which have health benefits. Hence, it's very obvious that Indian market is large and dynamic. Now, what's growing? It's the e-commerce, and what has been and what is growing? Both e-commerce and mass premium. What's changing? The distribution, the pattern is changing, and consumer expectations have continuously kept changing. What's important? It's the influencers and the value for money. And what is going to win? It's the focus, the team, and deep pockets. So what will be the future of FMCG industry? One, the product innovations, it's going to continue. Product with specific USPs, nutritional benefits are, it's going to continue. And, there are, as rural and semi-urban areas are, continuously growing. And so penetration by companies will be an attempt. Nestle has mentioned that they're going to target 1.2 lakh villages to penetrate into rural and semi-urban areas. And strengthening of e-commerce engagement. This is going to continue as a strategy with each of the FMCG companies. And strengthening D2C, influencer marketing, and social media. This is to increase their profitability, because it gives them that extra advantage to get more margins, because an engagement with e-commerce or a modern trade comes with a cost. But with D2C and influencer marketing or social media, you can actually optimize the cost to an extent where you can manage a sustainable, profitable business. So in simple words, what are the marketing solutions, whether it's during or post-COVID, which are cost effective? I would say is the influencer marketing, Instagram business, and a D2C. So these are some of the strategies utilized by some of the most of the companies today, and also some of the households who have come up with innovative products during COVID times also. And they have been utilizing these strategies. I would like to end this presentation saying that jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. Thank you all, and I thank Suresh for giving me an opportunity. Thanks Shekhar for giving me an opportunity, and I open the forum for.
Thank you, Ranga. And quickly, want to introduce Deepa Chauhan as a person who literally got the flavors and ingredients from the past, where she tasted somewhere, and how she could institute a small business. And she's been featured in various, as a celebrity in various media. So please welcome Deepa. Deepa, please, quickly, 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll take question answers.
Hello, everyone. This is Deepa Chauhan. I run a small business called Mortars and Pestles for the last 5 years. And yeah, as Suresh mentioned, that food that I had tasted elsewhere and I could not go back to that city, or what was available in India I was not happy with. So I tried to recreate that, and slowly it grew into a small business which is well loved by my clients. So while Sri Ranga elaborated on the marketing and the distribution channels, I am an out-and-out production person. Even my Instagram and FB is all about flavors and food profiles rather than my products. But funnily enough, people engage with real stories nowadays, and just like Ranga was saying, that it's the real products which are chemical free, or people who have not put preservatives are the ones who are doing well. And I feel they are the future, because sitting at home, people have realized that they are getting better flavors out of food naturally. and they need not be purchasing foods that have high amount of preservatives or chemicals that they would not find in their home, right? To create good food or to create a good meal for your family. And that's where I come in. My total philosophy is no preservatives, no chemicals in the food, and still I attain a high shelf life being a home shelf because I use certain practices which people have forgotten. There are natural ways of pickling and storing foods and doing it with just home equipment that has come to the rescue. And during COVID, the last lockdown, since there was not that much despair compared to this lockdown, people were craving a lot of food which they would eat in restaurants, but the restaurants were shut. So not just me, a lot of home chefs all over India had a lot of success, and a lot of clientele opened up because they were able to provide clients with the right flavor profile, which people were not able to get in their own homes. And it has been a very interesting journey. I think being truthful to what you do, not compromising on your product quality, and giving consistency in flavors is what clients look for. And FMCGs tend to put chemicals to get consistency, but home chefs have turned that on its head and done it without using chemicals.
All right. Deepa, are you done?
Yes, I think I'm done. I would like to also share a link here.
You can put it in the chat.
Yeah, it's a food trend report that I contributed to, and that's going to be the future of food.
Perfect.
It's a very interesting documentation that was done all over India by Godrej.
Yeah.
So I'm pasting that link here for everyone to read.
Thank you very much. Okay, so thank you, Ranga, and thank you, Deepa. For all the people who are interested in food industry, whether they are in engineering or whether they are in any other business, whatever the points of or topics that was raised today, is a huge potential. I'll tell you one thing. You be friends with nature. Nature will never let you down. Believe me. The cyclones may come, the flood may come, whatever may come. But during COVID, nature is at its best. I know many people in Chennai who have got a bungalow in the city and a farm outside. They're producing all the farm waste things and selling in that bungalow here. Because the bungalow provides a huge acreage or area for selling, displaying all the vegetables. And some of them are doing only organic. Believe me, nature provides. If you make money through it, you're going to be very happy. Because as a factory, you don't own anything. You don't have any assets except the land, and the land is always going to be yours. As simple. So questions, please. Thank you very much for a nice evening today. Please, Shekhar, moderate the questions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Koluru Prasanna has raised his hand. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, I am running a rice mill for the past almost 25 years.
Okay.
As a rice mill owner of Hassan district, Arkalgud Taluk, we specifically sell Rajmudi red rice.
Okay.
I am having an issue with Rajmudi red rice not having a longer shelf life. It's an organic rice selling very well. The rate at which what I am selling Rajmudi at Bangalore is just 44 rupees. The same being sold by others in a packed 1 kg material is being sold at 72 to 80 rupees.
Okay.
What good things are what things I can do to improve my product, sir?
See, two things you can do in marketing sense and the production sense.
Yeah.
The marketing sense is you can spread a little more by making smaller packs because many of the smaller people who want to test it may like to buy that. Or you go for a large pack where you can reduce the price and sell to people who want to buy and they repack it for you in their brand. Both ways are possible. Another alternatively, you go in for a little shelf life extension by putting some preservative. See, the choice is yours. At the end of the day, you control the stocks. How you spread far, wide, and as I said, as Ranga said, you can even try this big basket. Ask them to do it in their own in-house brand if the quality is good, or you give them your brand. So basically, you may have to compromise on some terms because they may not. They will say, "I'll give you. You have to give it on a credit facility for 90 days, 180 days, whatever." See how that benefits you. See, at the end of the day, the solution will come from the decision maker on the other side or from an initiative from your side. If there is some particular specific issue, I will be able to handhold you with 2 of the issues. No problem.
Okay.
The forum is open. Please go ahead and ask the question.
And I wanted to add something here for that Rajamudi rice. Mr. Prasanna was asking just some time back. You can even plan derivatives of Rajamudi rice. You can plan rice flour, packaged rice flour, then rava mix and idli mix and instant products, derivatives of rice, because that is selling like hotcakes, especially during this Corona time. So derivatives will be very helpful for consumers. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Deepa Sri is in our panel of the speakers. So thank you very much. That's a value addition suggestion. I didn't want to recommend that because you said you have got a very captive market for your existing product. But that's a very good suggestion. Please take it up.
Chaya Prabhu, madam, has a question, sir. This is regarding FSSI registration. Will you handhold the new entrepreneurs from the food sector?
See, FSSI registration is very, very document driven and inspection driven. So if you go through an intermediary, it will only add to the cost. And if it is a small time thing, it's going to be a little difficult. So what happens if you go to FSSI directly, they have nodal officers or good people who will guide you directly. So don't have to spend too much because it is all about inspection and showing documents. If you are doing it with a contract manufacturing, that means you have got an idea, you're going to produce it in some other company, then that company has to register under FSSI, so it's a different ballgame. So I request that, if you're an entrepreneur starting a business, then you please see how you're starting the business, whether you're investing. At the end of the day, FSSI documentations are huge. For that person, whoever, I'll just share this one document of the bakery product. It's a 228 slides. And it's not rocket science. It's very simple. Each slide tells you what all you have to do in each process. That's all. And if you have the checklist with you for your factory, if you have done it, you can easily go through it. Don't have to have anybody or any consultant or anything initially. Please go through the FSSI regulations. It will be very, very useful. And of course, if there is some sort of a difficulty, we are there to help you. No problem.
So is FSSI certification or registration necessary for micro, very small companies as well?
See, as long as you are packaging and selling a product and in some sort of a retail outlet which requires all these conditions to be compliant, you have to. Because there are many food categories. As I told you earlier, there are many people selling on the streets. They don't comply any FSSAI. It depends on whom you are supplying. Secondly, if you are supplying to a retail shop, that guy himself will ask, do you have a certificate? Okay, it all depends on who the buyer is. If you go to Big Basket, they have, as Ranga told you, they have a team, they know how to pick up the products. So it's up to you where you want, how you want to do it. Yeah.
Okay, there's a question on exports from Minds Solvit. How to get approval from US NOP and US FDA approval for organic food exports?
Now, US FDA is a long process. Now the other way works. For US FDA, you need a person there to help you. Okay. Not like what I told you just now for the FSSAI in India. For USA, you need somebody to help you, or you need that exporter who is the importer there. If he can take your product and do all the things, it will be very kind. But you be mindful of this, that the importer says he will do it for you. You also cross-check the cost with another lawyer there. And USA, all these legal things are very costly. So please be looking at your business potential. How much is your business going to be, and then enter this business. And how long will the authorities take to grant you your FDA certificates and all? Please check. You may even get these answers in various forums for a similar product.
Okay, there's a question from Mr. Girish Gumaste. Is FSSAI registration required for food processing manufacturing machineries as well?
No, if you're only doing the machinery, it's coming under engineering. Once a person buys your product, installs it in his factory, then that person needs to do that compliance. But you will be definitely manufacturing it to certain specification. Let's, for example, that machine is going to produce a juice or a sauce. Obviously, the customer will not buy if that machine doesn't produce to that texture and quality and softness and viscosity which he wants. Simple as that.
Participants can also ask in Kannada. Kannadallu kelbodu, please.
Yeah, please.
Dayavattu Deepashri ma'am idare nammalli.
Yeah, even Ranga can answer Kannada.
Yeah. ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾರು ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು.
ರಂಗ ಸರ್ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಗೋ ಅಹೆಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಕೇಳಿ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್.
ಹಲೋ
ಹೇಳಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಶ್ಯಾಮಲಾ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಹೇಳಿ.
ನಾನು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ. ಸರ್ ನಂದೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಇವಾಗ ನಾನೊಂದು ಫುಡ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ರನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ ಮಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ. ಈ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟೇಶನ್. ಇವಾಗ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಅದೇನಾದ್ರೂ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಸರ್ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ?
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ
ಆದ್ರೆ ಹೌದು, ನನ್ಗೀಗ ನಾನು ಕೋಲಾರದಿಂದ ಮ್ಯಾಂಗೋ ತರ್ತೇನೆ ವರ್ಷ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ.
ಹಲೋ. ಇವಾಗ ನನ್ಗೆ ಈಗ ಪೀಕ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ಈಗ. ಬಟ್ ನಾನ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾನೀಗ ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೋ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳುದು, ನೀವು ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಗಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ, ನೀವು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ನಿಮ್ದು ಸ್ವಂತ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು 5,000 ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರು 8,000 10,000 ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 4 to 5 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ಸ್. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಗಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಲೋಡು ನಾವು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಎಫರ್ಡ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಯಾವ ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನೀವೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದಾ ಅಂತ.
VRL Logistics idರಲ್ಲಿ it is in force. You can use some logistic services like VRL and others. I don't know about ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿ.
ಲಾಜಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ಸ್
ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗುವಂತ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಬಸ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಲಾಜಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅವೈಲಬಲ್. ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ
ಸರ್. ಲಾಜಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಸರ್. ಲಾಜಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅವರದ್ದು ರೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಸರ್, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್.
ನೀವು ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ ಮೇಡಮ್?
ನಾವು ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಾವು ಮೊದಲು ಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದದ್ದು. ಕೋಲಾರದಿಂದ ನಾವು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದು. ನಮ್ದು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬಸ್ ಇತ್ತು ಬರುವಂತದ್ದು. ಒಂದ್ ಸರ್ತಿಗೆ ನಾವು 2-3 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ ತರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ VRL ಎಲ್ಲ 1 kg ಅವರು 2.5 ರೂಪಾಯಿ, 3 ರೂಪಾಯಿ, 5 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ತನಕ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ವರ್ಕೌಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಒಂದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರು ಬರುವಾಗ 2-3 ದಿವಸ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅದು.
ಮೇಡಮ್, ನಾನೊಂದು ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ SLVT ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಟೆಂಪೋ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಇದೆ. ನಂಬರ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. ನಾನು ಕೊಣನೂರಿಂದ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು SLVT ಟೆಂಪೋ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ. ಅವನು ಟೆಂಪೋ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, ವಿಚ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ VRL ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ರೇಟ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ನಿಮ್ 1 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ 2 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ ಐಟಮ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ಯಾವ್ದೇ ಜಾಗಕ್ಕೂ ಕಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಗೆ ನಾನು ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಕಳಿಸುವಾಗ VRL 1,800 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ನಮ್ ಕೊಣನೂರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಕೆ. ಮೊನ್ನೆ ನಾನು ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಗೆ ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಕಳಿಸಿರೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ನು 880 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ನ ನಂಬರ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅವ್ನ ನಂಬರ್ ಈಗ ನಾನು ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹಾಕಿರ್ತೀನಿ, ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ತಗೋಬಹುದು.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಾ? ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಇದೆ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್, ಪ್ರತಿದಿನ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಂದ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಟ್ರೈನ್ ಇದೆ.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್. ಇವಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾವೇ ತೋಟಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ರೈಪ್ ಆದದ್ದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕೈದುಕೊಂಡು ಬರುದು. ಅವ್ರು ಕಳ್ಸಿದ್ದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವೊಂದು 2-3 ಜನ ಹೋಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವೊಂದು 5 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ನಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ತರ್ತೇವೆ. ಈ ವರ್ಷ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾವು ತೋಟದವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟೇಶನ್ ಏನು ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀವೇ ಬಂದು ತಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ತರ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಇವಾಗ.
ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಕೇಸನ್ನ
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಶೇಖರ್ ಅವರೇ, ಪ್ರವೀಣ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಜಸ್ಟ್
ಒನ್ ಮಿನಿಟ್ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್, 1 minute. ಈ ಕೇಸನ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ನಾನು ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Yeah, Mr. Praveen, please go ahead. Please stick to your question, please.
Yeah, no. Just wanted to clarify to madam. Anyways, no issues. We'll take it offline. No problem. Thank you. I wanted to help out Shamla, madam.
Offline, yeah, go ahead and talk. No problem. Go ahead and suggest something.
No problem. See, ivaga Lala Mutara, there is a concept which I'll share it with her. Okay, Lala Mutara ide hogbodu, and rest I will speak to her. I think it's not required. I'll do it.
Yeah. ಶಾಂತಲಾ ಮೇಡಮ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇದು ಕೈ ರೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾ? ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೋ ಅಹೆಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. ಶಾಂತಲಾ
ಸರ್, ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಾನು ಈಗ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆಟಾ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ಸ್ಪೈಸಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾಂಬಾರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇದು ಗರಂ ಮಸಾಲಾ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು, ನಾನು ಲೋನ್ಗೂ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಡಿಲೇ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ UAE-ಗೆ. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಂಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? ನಾನು ಹೈಪರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೀನಿ.
ಹೈಪರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ಗಾ? ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನೀವು ನಾನು ಅದೇ ಶೇಖರ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನನ್ನ ನಂಬರ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅವರು ರಿಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ, ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, there is a supplementary question from MindSolvit. Which is the best agency for organic certification in India?
No, there are few of them. See, all this APEDA, all this FSSAI, all of them will help you. There are private bodies like EcoCert or India Filings or some names, whichever you can find. But see the comfort of that person with whom you are dealing with. Because this is a certificate which is very going to be near and dear, and it's not a championship certificate that you have to float around. It's going to be valid. So get to somebody through a lawyer of yours. That will be more helpful. That will be very authentic.
Okay. Mr. Jayanand, please go ahead.
Manufacturing organic.
Jayanand GV, please go ahead.
ಸರ್ ನಮಸ್ತೆ.
ಸರ್,
ನಂದು FFC ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ರಿನ್ಯೂವಲ್ ಗೆ ನಾನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ 31st 2020 ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇನೆ.
ಓಕೆ,
ಅದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೈಟ್ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದು ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಫುಡ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಫಾಲೋ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಅವರಿಂದ ಏನು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್, ಯಾರು ಎಸ್ಕಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು?
See, Jayanand, there's a small bitter thing which is happening in India. Yesterday also there was a question by somebody whose insurance was not being processed and all. We discussed this. As long as you are dealing with the government bodies, your charm and sweetness will work only till the time of giving the application. After that application, all the processes will be started. Even if it is very clear and very nice and proper, if that guy is honest, sincere to his job, committed, he will grant it to you. Otherwise, if he's looking for a sweet box or something, I don't know what he wants. Otherwise, you go to the higher ups, make a noise, get it done. Because today the government of the day is very, very particular that there is a transparency. So because of the COVID, those people will tell you reasons. We don't have officers, we don't have people, we are not allowed to go out, all that stuff. But if it is almost 5 months, 6 months, that's quite a long, but they are entitled to reply because they are also working for some situations.
They are not responding to my calls.
So you go to the higher authority and just put a CC or a mail to them or check with somebody else. Because this is a problem which I'm facing with a lot of my clients and friends. And I'm telling them to be open and keep sending them reminders. You can even do a registered letter to them so that it becomes more valid.
Okay. Higher authority and then ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬಹುದು ಸರ್, ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ?
You can even go talk to the director, top man, wherever the government is, whichever, no, suppose in corporate world we call MD at so-and-so xyz.com. You find out from FSI, which is the regional head, write to him and put a CC to the zonal or the national head.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. DG Leelavati Leela, please go ahead.
ನಾನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ರೆಡಿ ಟು ಕುಕ್ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಮಸಾಲಾಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಂಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು.
ಹೇಳಿ. ಹೇಳಿ ಮೇಡಮ್.
ರೆಡಿ ಟು ಕುಕ್ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು.
ಓಕೆ.
ಸ್ಪೈಸಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ ನಮ್ದು. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಇದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್.
ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಮೇಡಮ್ ನೀವು?
ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ನಮ್ದು ಆಂಧ್ರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಇದು ಹೇಗೆ ನೀವು ಬಲ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಇದು ರಿಟೇಲ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್?
ಪ್ಯಾಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಪ್ಯಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೊದ್ಲು ನಾವೇ ಹೋಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಇವಾಗ ಕರೋನಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಹೋಗಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನಾದ್ರು
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ನ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಜನರಲ್ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ನ ಯಾರನ್ನಾರು ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ?
ಆತರ ನಂದು ಹೋಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಏನಪ್ಪ, ಒಬ್ರಿಂದ ಒಬ್ರಿಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಂದು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅಮೆರಿಕ ಎಲ್ಲ
ಓಕೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ರಿಟೇಲ್ ಪ್ಯಾಕೇಜ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೆಡಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟರ್ಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ನಾನು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು.
ಓಕೆ, ನಮ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಇದೆ, FSSAI ಇಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನೇನ್ ಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ.
ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡಿ, ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಆಫ್ಲೈನ್ ನಾನು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೂ ನಂಗೆ
ಹೌದು, ಅದೇ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಈಗ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಪ್ರೂವಲ್ ತಗೋತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅಪ್ರೂವಲ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಫೈನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲೂನು. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟರ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಿಮ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಿ, ಇದು ಕ್ಯಾಟಲಾಗು ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಿ, ನೋಡೋಣ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನನ್ನ ನಂಬರ್ ನಾನು ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಒಂದ್ ನಿಮಿಷ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
Okay, thank you.
There is a question, sir. Can you explain about the route to export groundnut oil to supermarket in UAE, Singapore, and Malaysia? It's a very specific question.
Yeah. See, the oil business in UAE, Singapore, Malaysia has all traditionally been controlled by many Indian Sindhi groups based in Singapore, Olam and various others. Secondly, the output from Malaysia and all are captive. It's a huge traditional market, entrenched market, traditional market, and also a busy market. Now, if you look at the scenarios which Ranga pointed out, Amazon, Big Basket, online, they're also doing. They can also take it as an in-house brand because Amazon is also supplying in UAE. Okay, how they're supplying in UAE? They're importing from various sources. So you can touch base with Amazon here, ask them, can you take this product for exports into UAE? Maybe they will take it as a brand there. Maybe they'll negotiate with you to offer a brand name which is more suiting UAE, and that will be, you have to produce all the things with the Arabic names and all those conditions. Now, if you are going direct into UAE, I told you there are agency procedures. My friend there in Dubai, he does a consultancy only assisting companies to get their thing registered. Similar to FSSAI, they have this Dubai Municipality Registration Programs, whatever you call it, DMAC or something. So you have to register there. And for every product, there's a fee attached to it. And that fee is for 1 year or 1.5 years or 2 years for which you can import the product. Because every time you import or something, you need a certificate. For that details, I can share with you for the procedure is concerned. But as far as the marketing is concerned, you need to be competing with the brand names like Ideum and all those things which are very popular there. And mind you, the population in all the Southeast Asian countries and Dubai, there's a heavy fallout of the South Indian nationals there. And groundnut oil is typically in the third rung after coconut oil and til oil. So you need to study the market, how you want to go about it, what is your production capacity, what is your quality, how are you packed, how are you branded. I will allow Ranga to interface with you initially. And then once it is qualifying, Ranga tells me, sir, it's good, it can be exported, we will take it up for you. Definite help.
Yeah, done. UAE, see, for UAE, there are some specific certifications also required. Okay, and I have a contact from UAE Amazon. Okay, so if it satisfies all those criteria, I think we can touch base. No problem. Yeah.
Okay, can I request Dodappa Nishti, who's an agripreneur, to ask the question? He wants to ask the question on the organic tour in Yadgiri. Please go ahead, sir.
Good evening. Sir, I have grown an organic tour in my village, but when raw material is ready now for market it, but we haven't taken the certification from Government of Karnataka for organic farming. Okay. So is it possible? is it possible for me to take it now, or any lab reports will suffice for market it?
No, it is not a question of what is required. As I told you earlier, what is required, what is mandatory in the label formats. You certified is yours. You can even certify and sell, nobody will object. As long nobody catches you, do it. But the problem is, I'm saying, why don't we go through the process? If you go through the process of what is required, nobody will stop you from growing a vegetable and say claiming it's organic, as long as it is properly organic. You understand? You put a farm there, enclose it, put a fence, and then say I'm growing organic farm here. As Ranga said earlier, jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai. So if you put an organic farm there and grow organic plants, but not organic, you do something else, people will still believe it's organic. So the certification part comes from the granting of that area or that land by the revenue people as organic farming or for farming, and the produce they are coming. So obviously the FSSAI is looking at two things: whether the produce is organic, which you're claiming, and what the output that you come out with when you clean the beetroot and the potatoes and all of the stuff, removing the mud. After that, they test it again, and if they find that there is some sort of a chemical residues which are coming from some other source but not from your farm. Your farm is very clear. You are not done anything other than organic, but there is a seepage of water from the nearby river which enters into the system, or in the warehouse where you have kept some products after taking out from the mud. There, if there is some infusion of chemicals from some other source, then you have to certify. So it has to be done at both ends. So please clarify and check with your local authorities what you have to do. Ranga can again help you on this. Thanks.
Yeah.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Mr. R. Mohan, World Live Exports, please go ahead. World Live Exports, you raise the hand.
Hello, namaskara ರೀ. Hello.
ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ರೀ. ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಮೋಹನ್ ಅಂತ ರೀ. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಂಪನಿ ನೇಮ್ ವರ್ಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈವ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್.
ಹೇಳಿ ಮೋಹನ್.
ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಕ್ ಹೆರ್ಬಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ರೀ ನಾವು.
ಹರ್ಬಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಓಕೆ.
ಅದು ರೀ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ.
ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ದು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್, ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್
ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ರೀ ನಾನು. ಡೀಟೇಲ್, ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ನಂಬರ್, ಮೇಲ್ ಐಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲ. ಹೌದು ರೀ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ಕಳಿಸಿ, ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಕಳಿಸಿ ನೋಡೋಣ.
ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ರೀ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್. ಓಕೆ.
Anybody would like to ask the question, please go ahead. We have an excellent panel right now.
No, there are some queries typed in the messages.
Yes.
So somebody is asking, does organic tur dal comes under class 30 or 31?
Yes.
Is this for trademark registration or
Mind Solvent?
Yeah, if he can talk, it will be better.
Yes, sir, it's for trademark registration.
Yeah, I think foods come under 30 class. I'll just confirm you back. 1 minute.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
There is a question from Raghavendra Shekhar.
Yes. Sri Ranga is answering the question, sir.
Mind Solvent, it will come under class 31.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it will be 31. You can also check it on trademark portal. Okay, so you will be able to.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
But it is 31. I just checked it. Yeah.
Okay.
So there is a question from Mr. Raghavendra BJ.
Okay.
I have set up the trimmed tender coconut processing facility. Any lead or channel to enter into pan-India level or global level?
Okay. Are you talking of the tender coconut only in the packaging or the coconut itself as a package? Because I explored this business in 93 to 95 in Dubai. The coconut water.
Yes, sir. We pack it in a national package. So we are not opening any coconut, sir. We remove the outer part of the shell and keep it as natural.
That's what I'm asking. That is a business which I wanted to start. I could not get any supplier 20 years back, almost 27 years back. If you are giving me this opportunity, I'm very thankful. It's like a dream come true.
Sure,
because
sir,
the
I have a
coconut
facility
water, whatever we brought, had to be sweetened with the preservatives and all. It was tasting almost like coconut water, but not. And the tender also no. So this is a very good opportunity.
Sir, I have a facility of processing 50,000 coconuts per day, sir. We are using an automation line to maintain the consistency and hygienity of the coconuts also. If any channel from your side, it would be a very helpful for me.
Immediately apply to the government under the Atmanirbhar thing. Lot of schemes are going on. I will send you the links. The Modi government will definitely look at it and maybe call you and find out it's a new discovery. And all the coconut people will start entering the business immediately. So be careful. We'll have competition. Yeah.
Sure, sir. I'll share my contact, sir. Please do send the link, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Satvik developers. Satvik developer. You raised your hand.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Everyone here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. We are Satvik Authentic Food. We have a business running in Bangalore. Okay. We are North Karnataka people where we have our own setup shop. We are selling North Karnataka food products.
Sorry, your voice is cracking.
Yeah.
Voice is breaking. Yeah.
So can you hear now? Is it clear?
Yeah. Please keep your mouthpiece closer to you.
And speak slowly.
Yes. Now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Can you hear, sir? Yeah. So basically, we are from North Karnataka. We are selling North Karnataka products in Bangalore. Okay. Our flagship products are flours, wheat flour and jowar flour. We are milling and manufacturing in North Karnataka and selling in Bangalore mainly. So I want to enter into the super bazaars, supermarkets in Bangalore and throughout India. How can I proceed for this, sir? We have
So
our own products.
Okay.
Own brand products.
Okay. So you send us the details of your brand. Okay, we will probably get in touch with you for the details, and we'll connect you to some distributors here in Bangalore.
Yeah. I am looking for some distributors.
Before that, his question is a little different. He's asking how to do it, but before that, he should do some homework to to pack a brand and do all that stuff in a small trial basis and compare his cost.
Yes, sir. We have done that one. We have come up with our own product already.
So
we are tied up with some service providers to list in Amazon and Flipkart also already.
No, that is okay. But for the retail, you do a comparative chart for other products which are there in the supermarket which you intend to enter. For example, if you enter in D-Mart or your big basket, or they have an open sort of supermarket, go and see the prices of the competitors there. Find out how best is your price. If your price is way off, higher, they will not take it. If your price is way lower, they are going to check the quality. So either way, you need to be competitive. Please check that. Ranga, please do that and let go.
Yeah. Correct, sir. Yeah.
To whom I can contact, sir?
Contact Ranga.
Ranga. Okay, I have contact number and email also. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I am Kandaswamy from Bangalore. I have a industry manufacturing batteries. That is in India. It is a MSME. So I want to diversify into food industries. This cooking is particularly shooting to Mr. Suresh Iyer.
Okay.
So what type of product I should choose in a food industry? And who can help me out? See, I am basically nil as far as this industry is concerned.
Okay.
I am doing well and good in that my own industry. But I want to diversify.
Okay. You can do this. You can do this as a tax saving measure also by going into agricultural area far away so that you can get the tax benefit. You can also enter into a business where if you want to low risk, then enter into a minimum investment business. For example, raw bananas, which can stay for some time, become ripe bananas and sell. Then you can convert the raw bananas into chips. So you pick up one product and slowly graduate into the potatoes, that sort of vegetables. Or that is called focus strategy. Or if you want diversified strategy, grow a lot of similar type of vegetables like tomatoes, and I'm just giving an example. I got horticultural friends who are doing a lot of terrace gardening. So you need to understand what investment you're going to make, where you're going to manage this, because this agri product, sorry, all of you may be interested, but it is a headache business. You know, all the hotel people, they go early morning to the wholesale place and they buy all the vegetables themselves because they are not sure how their managers will go and buy. They're interested in the quality. Secondly, they don't want to spend more money. A lot of money is wasted or spent or getting cheated. So if you are going to enter this business of agriculture, if you have got a very trusted person and you can do a plus minus 10% of your cost, you can decide. You also should look at another thing. You should be passionate about it. You should like that. Any product you take, it will be good. And there are a lot of help in this. If you have got a land, all the more better.
Sir, I would like to go as an industry fashion. So I would like to have the industry. I may not be in a position to go and get the raw vegetables and make things like that. It may be difficult.
Okay.
So I am thinking of a little, maybe above a small scale industry level.
Okay. So what you can do is, I'll give you a small example. Like seasonal. Mango is seasonal thing. If you can buy a lot of mangoes, you can try it as an entry because that will not waste your time. You can go into contracting with somebody who can make the extract the thing as a pulp or a puri or a jam or whatever you want of mango. And if you have got a wherewithal, create a brand. So you are independent now because the brand will take care. You will put the money for the marketing. Immediately you can launch it in Amazon or whatever the agencies that they can help you with in the online sales. You can create a website which will then deliver the goods to the people in the market. And then you need to cover, because you got the money and you are little above the MSMEs, you can distribute it also fast. And distributors are looking for new products. So you have to go the branding route. And for that, I will give you two things. One is the technology help, the retailing help, and the IT help. I mean, when I say the distribution.
Shekhar, consultancy, who can give me a consultancy?
Yeah, I've already sent one link. There is one IIFTP. I will share that with you through Shekhar. He will give it to you. They will give you the complete knowledge of whichever way you want to process the product.
Can they have hand-holding also?
They will give you everything. And for hand-holding, if you have difficulty, you can connect with us.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. There is a question, sir. What are the approvals or certificates required for moringa powder and oil?
Which one?
Moringa powder, sir. This is one of the fastest growing.
These are all specialized areas. You need to contact the FSSAI people. They will guide you better and fast because there's no shortcuts on this. Yeah, you have to go through the agencies. There are websites which are very clearly done. They will give you, or you can go to the APEDA people. They give you the certificates. It's not a rocket science. Very simple. Nowadays, everything is very simple.
Fine. The floor is still open. We can take one or two more questions, please. Go ahead.
If that person has difficulty, can contact us. We'll help.
Is there any more questions?
ಸರ್ ಇದು ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂತಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ?
ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಹೇಳಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಇದು ನಾನು ಅದೇ ಉತ್ತರ ಕನ್ನಡ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಟ್ ಇದರಿಂದ ಅಂಕೋಲಾ ಅಚ್ವೆಯಿಂದ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಒಬ್ರು ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರೆನರ್ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದು 3 acres ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೆಕಾನಟ್ ಒಂದು 100 ಟ್ರೀ ಇದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ತೆಂಗಿನ ಕಾಯಿನೂ ಒಂದು 100 ಟ್ರೀ ಇದೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈಕೋ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಸೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಮ್ ಕಲ್ಚರು, ನಮ್ ಫುಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾರ್ಗು ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಯಾವ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫೇಮಸ್ ಟೂರಿಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಣ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿಭೂತಿ ಫಾಲ್ಸ್, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಾರೆ ಅವರು 3 acres ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಈಕೋ ಟೂರಿಸಂದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಗೈಡ್ ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ಬೋದಾ? ಇವತ್ತು ಅವರು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ವೆಬಿನಾರ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಇದು ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಂಬರ್ 1. ನಂಬರ್ 2, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಹವಾಯಿ ಸ್ಲಿಪ್ಪರ್ ಅದು ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಮೆಷಿನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಸುರೇಶ್ ಸರ್, ವಿಲ್ ಯು ಏಬಲ್ ಟು please guide us?
Hawaii Chapel, see, there was a speaker sometime back, Mr. Ramesh Subramaniam, who's an expert in the shoe business. He was the vice president of Bata, spent 23 years there.
Okay.
I can connect you with him. He will help you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. ಇಕೋ ಟೂರಿಸಂ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾರನ್ನ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಸರ್?
Eco tourism. You want to do eco tourism to their place?
Yeah.
Ecotourism, you see, there are two things, because I have been handling one of the companies which are Chikmagalur area. They were developing a huge tourism spot, and I remember the owner himself going there 100 times, setting up the whole thing. And to promote fun tourism like that, because when you're talking of 100 acres, 200 acres property, that's a huge money and cost to develop that. So if you're talking of ecotourism, I'm definitely sure that the person has got a lot of money. And if he has got a lot of money, then you should find out what sort of a market he wants, whether he wants Indians to come, overseas people to come. It's all possible. If you go to Pondicherry, you'll find a lot of French people coming in, because it's a sort of enclave. There's a sort of ecotourism, because in that place, the specific enclave, they are promoting eco-friendly products. So you need to understand how you want to target that market, whether you want Indians to come, whether you want foreigners to come, and what are you developing there. If you have, I don't know what stage he's in. Whether he's finished the product.
Okay.
Is he finished the project? Then we can start talking.
Yes, sir. Yes.
If yes, then you can send me details. We can connect with him.
Yeah, I'll send details, sir.
Thanks. I put my details there for you.
Yeah.
Jude Palace, please go ahead. Jude Palace, can ask a question.
Yeah, Kirbaran speaking, sir. Jude Palace, from Jude Palace. Sorry for the delay response. I am Jude Palace from Chennai. We are the manufacturing jute bags.
Okay.
Any openings in there, all corporates and export and local market. We are the direct manufacturer. We buying fabrics from Calcutta and we manufacturing here in Chennai. Any opening is there na? Please give me a contact detail, and anybody is there na? Just refer me, sir.
See, that's a huge exhibition, virtual exhibition going on, the Export Promotion Council of Handicrafts. So if you connect with Sridevi, she will be able to tell you. If you are a member there in EPCH or something, connect, you'll get it. Second, jute products are a better substitute and a natural and eco-friendly product compared to plastics. So you have to contact all the companies which are into CSR activities, where they will replace your products with those who are buying plastic bags and say, please don't buy plastic, buy these. So they will facilitate the environmental project that you're doing through their money. So you have to find out that requires a little marketing from your side and contacts. Maybe I can help you with 1 or 2 contacts, but I don't know. It will take a long time. It will take a long time.
Sure, sir.
It's a good product to be in. As I told you, anybody in touch with nature and doing any products with nature, you will never be in a loss. Never.
Okay. Ashwini, please go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Please.
ಸರ್ ನನಗೆ ಚಪಾತಿ ಮಾಡೋ ಮಷಿನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಸರ್. ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿದ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಇರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ನಾನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡಿದೆ, ಬಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಮೋಸ ಹೋಗ್ಬಾರ್ದಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಭಯ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ.
No, Ashwini, what capacity of chapatis do you want to make? Because there is one in Singapore for homemade which does about say 40 chapatis in 10 minutes or something. Then there are machines which produces about 100 in an hour. 540 in an hour. So you all need to tell me what you want, what capacity. There are machines available plenty.
ನನಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ
branded to unbranded.
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನನಗೊಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಓಕೆ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ.
Yeah, we can connect you with people. There are a lot of people whom I know who are supplying this.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
We can take one last question. Fine, I think there are no more questions. Extremely thankful to our speakers, Sriranga Haritasa, Mr. Suresh Iyer as usual, and Ms. Deepa Chavan, and the panel of speakers for their comprehensive session. We really appreciate all of them for accepting our invite 24 hours, as Suresh said, addressing our members today. I'm sure our members would have hugely benefited out of this session today. I once again, from Laghu Udyog Bharati, a grateful thanks to all the speakers.
Shekhar, sorry to just interrupt you for a second. Today was the semi-finals, I hope, for the Entrepreneurship Week. Tomorrow is the finals, and as all want, money is coming to them. So please let them not miss it.
Okay, sir. Tomorrow's session is financial literacy, schemes and recent RBI amendments. This session will be hosted by Mr. Avinash Chandra, who is the Executive Vice President of Yes Bank, and Srimati Padmaja from SIDBI. Again, this topic, as Suresh said, is going to be very, very important for all our learners. Hence, I request all the participants to kindly attend this meet and benefit out of the session. Thanks a lot, and I formally close the session. Thank you very much to all the participants.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Sanjay. Sir, this is Sanjay, actually. I'm audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. Sir, actually, I was about to ask question, but that question's answer has been called up. It's no worry. But I can ask now, right?
Yeah. Please ask.
Okay. Sir, basically, I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm working in Bangalore itself. But my interest is now we have around 10-acre land. We actually grow turmeric as well as sugarcane.
Okay.
So, but in the open market, when you go to sell these products, when you grow, we are not getting a right product cost. So, what I am thinking is that whether I myself enter into the packing industry, which I can already growing the products. So I can make it, whether I can make it small chemical-free sugar like bella gottalla sir nimge bella athwa turmeric jaggery.
Yeah.
Otherwise we have a turmeric also, we grow turmeric.
Sanjay,
the question is sir, ee eradu product na nanu myself I want to launch it. So, in the small scale in the beginning, so what would be the real challenge for the cost investment, the marketing investment, or whether we need to enter into the food market? What are the barriers we need to face it? I just wanted to know that.
See, both this turmeric and your sugarcane, is it passion for you or fashion for you? If it's going to be passion, then you have to weather a lot of storm. First of all, sugarcane comes in various sizes, small to big to thick and all that stuff. Secondly, the density, what we call water volume or the juice volume in a particular length of sugarcane. Now, people in the business, they know what quality it is by just looking at the sugarcane. Similarly for the turmeric. And there are some small retailers also who may be doing more business than what your output could be per month or per season. Correct. So you need to look at whether the transportation cost is more than the quantity that you're having from wherever to wherever. So it's a very different ball game in terms of quality, volume, sizes, reach to the customer, and the shelf life of the product. Because sugar alone will not last more than 1 week to 10 days. Because after that, the whole taste also changes. So you need to look at how you are going to market. So better tie up with somebody who's a small guy who wants it, who's not getting it from somebody else, who's ready to take something because he wants to run his business, like the sugarcane juice makers. As far as it's concerned, it's a general product. You can even pack it at home and start looking at selling to some 10 to 15, 20 retail shops and experiment it out. But if you want to go the branding route, take a value-added route, then there are very many consultants who can help you. But if you already got a brand, then Ranga can help you.
No, sir, we don't have any brand now. But, I just want to set up a small-scale industry in that food packing industry related to spice and grains, along with the jaggery. So I wanted to say.
Then I've given you the website that IIFPT. You can talk to them. They will guide you properly as to how you to set up.
Okay. So, and for a small scale, as a beginner, I want to ask, what at a small scale level, what would be the investment cost?
See, Sanjay, there are 2-3 things that is happening in all these MSMEs and industries. For a very viable project, banks give you loans, so you don't have to worry about funds. Only you have to worry about the performance profits and give back the money. Second is your own money. If you are going to invest, then I would suggest why these products. I'm just asking you as a venture capitalist, why are you interested in these products? Why not something like shoes or something else? So you need to justify your passion for these products and being persistent to continue with this product. Yeah, you have to justify it with a lot of other factors.
Okay.
So there is a lot of possibilities. Don't worry about it. Your investment is there. That's okay. But there are other people also will support. Lot of schemes for the food industry. I'm telling you again, if you are connected with nature, immense potential. Yeah.
Okay. So can I get your number whether I can
contact? Yeah. Even if you have Shekhar's number, you can take it. Otherwise, post it in the chat. You can see it there. Suresh at Anurag Group.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We formally close the session.
Thank you, Shekhar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.